Hi, my name is Carolina Perez. I'm a mother of 3. So let's talk about teaching our children how to suffer well. Well, suffering is inevitable, and it's up to us to teach our children how to suffer well. We all remember the story in the book of Genesis where God created Adam and Eve, and Eve didn't make quite a good choice, and she disobeyed God, and so did Adam with her. What happened to them? They were cast out of the carefree life into a life of misery where they had to work hard and ultimately suffer. So something like this is happening to us every single day. We are influenced by the sin of someone else or our own sin. So whenever I'm approaching this topic, I like to ask 2 questions. Number 1, how is my child suffering right now? What is their pain point? Is it a chore? Is it schoolwork? Is it feeling of abandonment or shame? Or desire to have something someone else has in their classroom, for example? What is it? And the other question after this I like to ask, what is my role as a parent? What can we do as parents to represent the real world to our children in this situation that they are going through right now? For example, for me, it would be the story of when my son was 3 years old. We sent him to school, and when I came to pick him up the first day, the teacher tells me, well, your son doesn't know how to put his shoes on. And I was like, well, I know he doesn't know because I never taught him. I always do it for him because it's too hard. And so if I were to answer my questions that I just gave you, it would be, well, number 1, how is he suffering? He is suffering because he can't put his shoes on, so he's feeling maybe ashamed. And what is my role in this? Well, my role was supposed to be to teach him how to put his shoes on, and therefore represent the real world to him, real consequences. So what are some good habits that we parents can foster and teach our children? So number 1, be a good example. Yes, I know it's so easy to say and so hard to get done. And we probably are not going to be able to be the perfect example. But we can look to Mary, Joseph, and look for answers. Another thing we can do is offer it up, right? I know, I said it. It's something we don't like to hear. The little ones don't understand what it means, and the older ones just don't like to hear it. So what we can do is we can make it very concrete. Let's say our child is having a hard time learning something or studying for tests. We can make it very concrete and offer this struggle up for those people who will one day benefit from this suffering, from what they've learned. So another thing, be cool. Have you ever seen paramedics whenever they are approaching the scene and they assess the patient, and I don't know, they're seeing something horrifying? They're so calm and they just walk the patient through the process, and they make them feel like nothing is going on, even though a lot is going on. So as parents too, just be cool. First, we need to observe the reaction of our child whenever they're suffering, right? So see how they are reacting to whatever they're going through, and then we can see how we can guide them through the process. Another thing, be ChristCentered. God became a man in Jesus, and so we do need to bring Jesus, God, back to earth and be Christ-centered. He can relate to anything that you or your child is going through, and that's why we need to be Christ-centered. Last thing, I promise, it's saints. Introduce your children to lives, to stories of people who have suffered for Christ or for a good cause, for anything. Why would they suffer? And you can start with the apostles. Why would these apostles, friends of Jesus's, would die for him? Why would they be willing to die just to spread his teaching and his word? there's something very interesting about that. And why would anyone go purposely into suffering for God? And I know that we often try to eliminate suffering, and we try to take it away from our children by fixing it somehow. But the truth is that when we eliminate suffering, we also eliminate the extensive love that we can give them and God can give them as well. Lastly, I challenge all of us to take the passage from Matthew chapter 11, verse 28 through 30. Come to me all, you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart. You will find rest for yourselves, for my yoke is easy and my burden light. So again, whenever we see our children suffer, ask yourself, how is my child suffering right now? What is their pain point? What is their love language? How can I help them in the midst of this situation? And most importantly, how can I help them to represent the real world now?